Your brain is physically changing shape right now. This isn't a metaphor. It isn't poetic license. It is a biological reality happening inside your skull at this exact second. There is a silent chemical process flooding your system that is actively eroding the physical structure of your mind. It operates beneath your conscious awareness, stripping away the protective insulation on your neurons like frayed wires. It forces the delicate tree-like branches of your brain cells to wither and retract. It quite literally shrinks the hardware responsible for your most precious memories and your ability to regulate your emotions. Most of us think this feeling is just life in the modern world. We think the persistent brain fog, the sudden flashes of irritability, the inability to remember where we left our keys, or the struggle to focus on a single paragraph of text are just signs of aging. Or maybe we convince ourselves it's just the result of a bad week at work. We are wrong. These aren't just transient symptoms of a bad mood or a lack of sleep. They are the structural debris of a brain under siege. They are the cracks in the foundation appearing before the house settles. If you have felt like you are losing your cognitive edge, or like your emotional fuse has become dangerously short, snapping at loved ones over minor inconveniences, you aren't imagining it. Your processing power is being eaten away, millimeter by millimeter. But here is the twist regarding the thing that is doing the damage. It isn't a foreign virus invader. It isn't a toxin hidden in your food. It is a survival mechanism your own body designed to save you that is now slowly taking you apart from the inside. We call it stress, but that word has lost its weight. It's too small. It's too casual. It sounds like something you complain about over drinks with friends. Scientifically, we need to talk about cortisol. When you encounter a threat, whether it's a tiger chasing you in the ancestral savanna or a passive-aggressive email from your boss landing in your inbox at 4:55 p.m., your body pulls the fire alarm. The HPA axis activates. Your adrenal glands dump a cocktail of hormones, primarily cortisol, into your blood. In short bursts, cortisol is a superhero. It creates a state of hyperarousal. It mobilizes glucose for quick energy, sharpens your focus to a pinprick, and temporarily shuts down non-essential systems like digestion so you can survive the immediate danger. But the human brain was designed for sprints of stress, followed by long periods of rest and recovery. It was not built for marathons. When that alarm bell never stops ringing, when the stress becomes chronic because of bills, deadlines, and 24-hour news cycles, that cortisol turns from a high-octane fuel into a corrosive solvent. And unfortunately, it has a favorite target deep within your brain. This is the hippocampus. You can think of it as the save button of your brain. It is responsible for taking short-term experiences, a name, a face, a fact, and encoding them into long-term storage. But it does more than that. It is also the regulator that keeps your emotions in check. It tells the rest of your brain, hey, the threat is over, calm down, we're safe. But here is the problem. The hippocampus is covered in cortisol receptors. It is incredibly, tragically sensitive to this stress hormone. It absorbs it like a sponge. When cortisol levels stay high for days, weeks, or months, it creates a toxic environment for the hippocampus. The system becomes overloaded. Now, be careful with the internet science here. You might hear people say stress kills brain cells. That is a simplification. It's actually more insidious than that. It doesn't just kill them, it disconnects them. High cortisol causes the neurons in your hippocampus to lose their dendrites. These are the microscopic branches that reach out and touch other neurons to communicate, forming the complex web that makes up your thoughts and memories. Think of it like a lush, dense forest turning into a barren desert. The trees are still standing, but they've been stripped bare of their leaves and branches. They can't touch each other anymore. The network goes dark. The signals stop flowing. And when the network goes dark, the physical volume of the hippocampus literally shrinks. It atrophies, just like a muscle you never use. We aren't guessing about this. We have the pictures. Decades of neuroimaging studies have shown distinct, measurable volume reduction in the hippocampi of people suffering from chronic stress, burnout, and depression. We can measure the loss in cubic millimeters. The longer the stress continues, the smaller the structure becomes. If you've been feeling brain fog, that's what this is. It's not just a feeling, it is a loss of biological connectivity. So, what does a shrunken hippocampus feel like from the inside? First, the save button gets stuck. You walk into a room and completely forget why you went there. You lose the thread of a conversation halfway through. You struggle to acquire new skills because the hardware required to write those new memories is physically compromised. The ink is running dry. But the memory loss isn't the most dangerous part. The emotional instability is. Remember, the hippocampus is supposed to regulate your stress response. It acts as the brakes for your stress system. The amygdala, your primitive fear center, is the gas pedal. When the hippocampus shrinks, your brakes wear out. They become thin and unresponsive. This creates a terrifying feedback loop. You get stressed. The cortisol shrinks the hippocampus. A smaller hippocampus makes you worse at regulating stress and shutting off the alarm. So the next time you encounter a problem, you get more stressed, releasing more cortisol, shrinking the brain further. You become trapped in a biological downward spiral. You aren't just stressed out. You are physically losing the capacity to be calm. You are reacting to minor annoyances with full-blown survival panic. This is the point where most people feel hopeless. They feel like they've broken their brain permanently. They think this is just who they are now, forgetful, anxious, scattered, and overwhelmed. But they are wrong. Because the science of the last 20 years has revealed something even more powerful than cortisol. For a long time, scientists thought the adult brain was fixed, like concrete. Once it hardened in early adulthood, that was it. If you lost neurons, they were gone forever, and you just had to manage the decline. We now know that was a myth. Your brain isn't concrete, it's clay. It is constantly reshaping itself based on what you do. This is called neuroplasticity, and specifically in the hippocampus, we have a phenomenon called adult neurogenesis. Even into old age, your hippocampus is one of the only areas in the brain capable of growing brand new neurons. It wants to heal. It has the innate capacity to regenerate. It just needs the right conditions to start the process. To trigger this regrowth, we need a protein called BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. Think of BDNF as Miracle-Gro for your brain. It encourages neurons to sprout new branches, strengthens the connections that were withered by stress, and protects existing cells from future damage. So, how do we wash out the cortisol and pump up the BDNF? We don't need a pill. We need 3 specific levers that you can pull starting today. Lever number 1, aerobic intensity. You know exercise is good for your heart, but it is critical for your hippocampus. But here is the nuance. To get the maximum BDNF release, you need to get your heart rate up. Studies show that aerobic exercise increases the volume of the anterior hippocampus, significantly more than just stretching or resistance training alone. It forces your body to pump more blood and oxygen to the brain, flushing out toxins and delivering growth factors. You are literally running away from the damage. When you sweat, you are bathing your brain in a chemical bath of repair and regrowth. Lever number 2, deliberate stillness. Whether you call it meditation, mindfulness, breathwork, or prayer, the biological effect is the same. You are manually overriding the HPA axis. You are hacking the system. MRI studies on mindfulness-based stress reduction have shown that just 8 weeks of practice can increase gray matter density in the hippocampus. You are engaging the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest mode. You are training your brain to take its foot off the gas pedal. By lowering your baseline cortisol, you stop the chemical corrosion, giving your neurons the safety they need to rebuild the branches they lost during the siege. Lever number 3, the wash cycle. During deep sleep, your brain utilizes a recently discovered waste clearance system called the glymphatic system. It's a plumbing system that opens up microscopic channels and flushes cerebrospinal fluid through your brain tissue, washing out metabolic waste and toxins accumulated during the day. If you are sleeping 6 hours a night, you are skipping the cleaning shift. You are letting the trash pile up. Sleep is when the save button actually does its work. It's when the hippocampus moves memories from temporary storage to long-term archives and repairs its own cellular structure. Prioritizing sleep isn't lazy. It's structural engineering for your mind. Here is the bottom line. If you identified with the symptoms at the start of this video, if you felt that fear that you've damaged yourself beyond repair, let that go. Your brain didn't shrink because you were weak. It changed because it was trying to adapt to a hostile environment. It was trying to protect you from perceived threats. It just got stuck in survival mode. But the most incredible thing about the human brain is that it is never finished. It is a work in progress until the day you die. You have the tools to reverse this. Every time you go for a run, every time you prioritize 8 hours of rest, and every time you choose a moment of stillness over a moment of panic, you are physically rebuilding your mind. You are laying down new wiring. You are not broken, you are adaptable, and now you are in control.